Thank you, Madam President. I rise today in support of a resolution I'm co-sponsoring to commemorate Juneteenth, Independence Day. In just 2 weeks, Americans will gather, of course, as we know, to celebrate the 4th of July. But it's important to remember that when our nation gained its independence, there were some 450,000 enslaved people in the 13 states. It wasn't until June 19th, 1865, more than 2 years after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which liberated a limited number of people, that enslaved people on June 19, 1865 in the southwestern states finally learned of their freedom. Months after the 13th Amendment was ratified, Army Major General Gordon Granger and federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to enforce emancipation. Since then, Americans in Texas and throughout the United States have celebrated Juneteenth, which is the oldest known celebration of the end of slavery in our country. To celebrate that day, people in my state, from all backgrounds, not African Americans only, not only descendants of slaves, but people of all backgrounds and ethnicities will gather at special places all over Ohio, at Franklin Park in Columbus, our state capital, at the Coming of Emancipation Memorial Service in Oberlin, just a few miles from my house, the site in Oberlin of visits from Martin Luther King, the site in Oberlin of the Underground Railroad where slaves escaping slavery were housed on their way to Canada. Ohioans will reflect in Westwood Cemetery in Oberlin, where former slaves and famous abolitionists are buried. At Cincinnati's Juneteenth Festival in Eden Park, families and visitors will gather on one of the hilltops overlooking the Ohio River, which slaves saw coming from Kentucky into freedom as they crossed the river into the north. They remember the perilous journey to freedom that many made at the banks of that river. In Wilberforce, an African-American school, higher university in southwest Ohio. In Wilberforce, in Zanesville, and Newcomers Town in Cleveland, Ohioans will hold ceremonies of remembrance and celebration. On Juneteenth, Independence Day especially, we have yet another opportunity to celebrate our great democratic traditions, our American ingenuity and innovation and imagination. We celebrate the rich heritage and vibrant culture of all Americans who are descendants of enslaved people on American soil. We celebrate the ingenuity of Ohioans like Columbus native Granville T. Woods, who invented the telegraph device that sent messages between moving trains and train stations. We celebrate the innovation of Ohioans like Garrett Morgan, a Clevelander who invented the traffic light. We celebrate the imagination and wisdom of Ohioans like Nobel's Prize-winning and recent Presidential Medal of Freedom honoree Toni Morrison of Lorain, Ohio. In America, progress is never promised, but through the work of dedicated citizens, we move closer to being the nation our framers envisioned. We can work together toward achieving a more perfect union where justice isn't limited to the powerful, but is also accessible to the people. Today, I'm proud to commemorate Juneteenth, Independence Day. Madam President, I yield the floor.